Hello, hello, welcome guys. Come on in. How's everyone doing? Who is ready to plan October? Can you believe that we're diving into October already? It's crazy. We're diving into the last quarter of the year. My HB90 planning is more or less in place. One of my goals for this weekend is to get the stickies done. That's the one piece I haven't done yet. So I got to get those written out so I get to choose my colors for the fall season. I kind of regret the colors I used for Q3 because now I kind of feel like they would have been like perfect for fall feel. But that's okay. I'll find something else. So we are going to get our monthly planning done. Who is with us? We have Jenna. Hello, hello. How's it going, hon? Rita, hello. I had a great little break, cheese and crackers, and now ready to plan the next month. Perfect. Yeah, that was actually, I was thinking about my story as I was making a quick little snack. Well, more lunch than snack, I should say. Just I think I finally unlocked the one little piece that I've been dancing around, and it was such a small shift, but it's such a huge shift to the story. So I'm so excited for that. Phyllis, hello back again. Looking forward to closing out the month and Q3 definitely. If you haven't already, the template is available in the description for this video. You can either just print it out as a hard copy or it's a PDF, so you can also use it in its digital as a digital in like GoodNotes or something if you prefer some digital planning. Let's see, Elizabeth, I am doing all right. We're gonna get you better. How is this the last quarter? I know, right? Like this year. Elizabeth, I know I'm going to take a break from my job, but I am uncertain on whether or not I will stay at this job after my back is healed. This is not an easy thing to deal with. I need to have enough time to focus on my college work. I might take less hours when I am back to work. Yeah, reduce a little bit, especially in the recovering stage, because you may be overdoing it, which is aggravating the injury. So reduce a little bit until you can basically make that assessment. Okay, guys, we are going to dive on in. So welcome to Plan Your Epic Story with me, October version. And we are going to figure out what it is that we want to accomplish in October. Taking a view of those 31 days and seeing how we can maximize our productivity while also taking care of ourselves and planning in a way that was going to be healthy and hopefully as balanced as one can make it. That is always the goal. I don't know if there's ever going to be that perfect balance, but we aim to try to be able to see what's coming at us so that we can control a little bit better our time and our time management, and just not have so many things coming at us in that sort of surprise mode. Phyllis, going to use my legend planner and update it directly. Has a weekly and monthly recap section. Nice. I used the legend up until the beginning of September. Then I bought this pretty little thing from Indigo. And I do like her. I mean, she's pretty. She is very pretty. I was wanting something with the spiral. And the way I've been using it is next week. It'll of course be the next month. We'll just pick a random date. And I basically just sort of been dividing up this page a bit so that I had it with a 3, which I was putting all the schedule stuff and then like my goals versus like family personal stuff. And this time I've just decided I'm just going to, because most of what I'm working on is my goals anyway. And the things that were sort of scheduled they hit the family side anyway. So I've just divided it simpler into the 2. And it comes with this nice little page here for notes. Nice little calendar that I can view, and then my to-do. And I try to break this down a little bit because I find otherwise it's a little too much. But it actually isn't a bad little planner. It seems to be working quite nicely. It is a 17 months, so I did get to try it out and get started with it early. I was on the fence about whether or not I wanted to purchase one that would be, it would start in January. But when I saw that one, it's purple. It's gold. I like it. It won. Okay, so let's dive in. So if you have the template, you're looking at the template for October. So we have our mini little October calendar on there. I always keep Tolkien quote there because it just makes me smile. And I change it out for Atwood this time round. If I waited for protection, if I waited for perfection, I would never write a word. And how true is that? So often in our lives, we wait for perfection before we start anything. And that leaves us always at a deficit of time. And we don't want to do that. We want to get started. We want to meet ourselves where we are in the moment and just, be kind to ourselves, give ourselves some grace, and just begin. Because often we won't even know what we need until we're sort of already in there. So I felt that was a really good quote for that one. I changed up, a few of you guys were mentioning that you weren't entirely sure how the line structure was. So I've actually labeled them goals 1 through 6. So that way you can actually have each section lined up nicely. I also made it official so that we do the I must statements for our goals. Well, then we look at the destination we want to end up. We want to look at then where we're starting from. And then the journey is, where are we? What are we going to do in October to get us closer to that destination? So we've got 2 pages like that. And then we have our itinerary. This time we're only working with 5 weeks, which is more normal. So I decided that I would let the 6th section be notes so we can actually have little scribbles for ourselves, which I think will be helpful. All right, guys, so picture this. The protagonist, you, stands in a place of discontent, longing for something. Close your eyes. What world do you see? What are you doing? Who is beside you? What do you feel? What do you value? What matters to you? Name it all. Give shape to this world you hope to create. There is a section on the template called Picture This, just a small box to help you give voice to that image that came to mind. What it is that the direction that you want to take, the changes that you want to see, the world that you want to find yourself in. Okay, guys, let's take a couple minutes and we will just, and we will just quickly do a small little journaling in that section to figure out what it is that we want to do and where we see ourselves, just to give it a little more power, a little more of an idea of the vision. For me, I think I'm going to look a little tighter this time. I'm going to basically look around toward the year of towards the end of this year, and maybe a little bit sort of where I want to see 2025 and kind of take a little view that way. Okay, guys, begin. What did you come up with if you want to share? I'm looking at, I started with the statement by the end of 2025, and I used as the phrasing, I will have 2 books published and earning me passive income with a 3rd book ready to launch. I will have a thriving editing business with happy relationships and a schedule that works for me. So trying to find all the balance, trying to get these 3 hats that I wear to all 3 hats, let's go 4 or 5 hats, let's be honest, all coming together and working in a way that is cohesive and supporting each other, but at the same time allowing me to create the relationships that I want in the communities that I'm taking part in, as well as in business. So what did you guys come up with? Anything interesting? And you can phrase this any way that you like. You can, and you can use the window, you can use a 5-year, 10-year, whatever works for you, depending on how big you want to look. Let's see, Rita, by the end of the year, I want to hold one of my books in my hands and continue to maintain balance in my life. Ooh, that's beautiful. Love that. Elizabeth, by the end of 2025, I will have an associate's degree in chemistry, and I will be a chemistry student in a STEM teaching minor in the nearby university. Sweet. Plus, my back will be healed. Yes, it will. Be kind to yourself in order to allow that to happen. Back injuries are hard to heal, and it's really easy to restrain and aggravate. Be very careful. Please, please. Okay, guys. We are going to dive on into our next section. So we are going to dive on into the ordinary world. That is mostly the first page. I keep trying to figure out how to take out the picture, this part, and I guess in some ways it's just easier to leave it up as one whole page, because if breaking it down becomes a bit difficult with the simplicity of this software. Okay, guys, so we have a few areas to consider here. Overall, we want to consider what it is that we are trying to do. So the first thing I want you to consider is your commitment statement, which is at the bottom of that first page. I will make myself a priority and follow through and give myself the time I need to make progress on the projects that matter to me. This is your new mantra. Sorry, guys. So we are here making ourselves a priority and defining what matters to us so that we can make progress on the things that matter to us and stop putting them on a shelf and tucking them aside for later. Okay, so the first one we're going to deal with today is our major conflicts, breaks in routine. Now, actually, I have surgeries down here, but injuries are also a very huge aspect of this. You cannot function as well as you want to when you are injured. Even if you are on the mend, there's a certain distraction that occurs there. So keep in mind that can also be a setback or a conflict, because it is something that is not allowing you to work in 100%, right? So you have your vacations, your holidays, your surgeries, your conferences, renovations, anything that is going to disrupt normal. Anything that is going to get in the way of the routines and systems that you have in place is what we want to consider here. How long will it take to get back to normal? That is the unknown variable, because for some, they only need a day or two, and sometimes you need a week. Depending on the severity of it, it can also be longer. So keep that in mind. I'll put a quick 2-minute timer up here. It can also be changes that are more subtle. Like for me, it's my eldest daughter's Special Olympics stuff. Currently we just have one class going, which is really, really nice. And it's pretty low key, but starting mid-October, 3 of them are going to be added to that, and our time is going to change. So I'm actually writing it down, because often I've always treated it like, oh, it doesn't matter, that's evening, but some of them start earlier, and she needs help, and then it interferes and gets into interferes with my plans, right? So I want to take note of that so I can manage it. Okay, guys, let's do our 2 minutes and go. Okay, let's see. What did you come up with? Elizabeth, by the end of, no, that one. My back injury is my major conflict. On the bright side, oh my, something got me and I don't even know what. On the bright side, I do plan to let my lawyer know I want to fight for lost wages. Also, I'm going to keep up with my mental health. I am fighting negative thoughts in my head. Ooh, journaling helps with that, hon. Gets out of your head and onto the page where you can process. Elizabeth, I have an exam on Thursday and an exam on Friday. I do plan on getting back to writing in 2025. Right now, I have other priorities. Yes, and it's the adjustment period too, right? You've got work, you've school, the schedule is different, the work is different as well, right? So, and the demands are kind of, school's a funny thing because it comes with a lot of unknown variables, right? You never know when you're going to have something that, if you have a subject that's really easy for you, well, then things are like, or not subjects, but topics that are really easy, boom, 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 things get done. But then you get that thing that you're kind of struggling with, and then everything takes twice, 3 times as long, and then that's more stressful. You start doubting yourself, all of that, and that's kind of, so yeah, knowing the priorities and knowing also how to manage it when things are not coming together nicely is smart, is good to have some strategies in place, right? Places you can turn to for information, if you're doing any group projects, or actually making just friends in class that you guys can, bounce ideas off each other and have that community, right? All right, guys, we're going to move on into our next one, which is fairly standard. Important dates, your events, birthdays, appointments, and commitments. There is room there to add any details like travel time, action steps, any prep that you might want to take, confirmation or paperwork, so that way you're not forgetting anything and you don't arrive somewhere without the documents that you need. Or maybe the documents have to be sent in beforehand and there's a deadline to that. All these little notes, details can get in there. Let's see, Rita, Canadian Thanksgiving, and my daughter and her boyfriend will be here for the long weekend, so not really a conflict. break in schedule, but a happy break in schedule, right? Okay, guys, let's get our 2-minute timer up and we are going to get through any details we can. A couple dates that I can give you is Double Down Day will be on the 5th of October and Virtual Writing Retreat should be the 18th to 20th. I don't think we're moving it in any way. As far as I know, that's where it's going to land. I haven't seen anything otherwise. So it should be in October. We always do it the first month of the quarter. So it should be an October thing. Okay. And of course you have your Halloween. If you're Canadian, you do have Thanksgiving on the 14th. And we have daylight savings, not in October, November 3rd. So if you want to note that down as well, since it's really close as well. Okay, guys, for this, I like to use my Google Calendar, but really you can use your paper planner, whatever you need, right? Wherever you've been storing your info, that's where we're going to turn to and begin. Oh, conflict. It's all over the place. Ironically, in terms of appointments and stuff, we really don't have a lot in October. But we do have holidays and we have, this often happens because one daughter has her university stuff, which it creates the slightest bit of a conflict between her class when it starts and when one ends, and it just kind of makes it's not the funnest. Thank you for subscribing, Carrie. Let's see, what do we have? Elizabeth, my mom's birthday is on October 10th. Well, very cool, and happy birthday to her. My mom's birthday is the 3rd. Oh, sweet, all these Octobers. Elizabeth, I also have an exam on my mom's birthday. Yep, my daughter's doing the same to me. She'll basically be doing her, most likely her final. So, yeah. She'll be a slightly stressed kid. That's okay. Not a big deal. Let's see, Elizabeth. On a funny note, the physical therapist I saw on Tuesday is named Elizabeth, and the lady at the front desk whom I handed papers I filed out to has a mother with the same first name as my mother. That is interesting. Unlikely, but interesting, right? So what is there anything on your list that you're kind of looking forward to? I'm looking forward to the virtual writing retreat. I think that I think I'm going to give myself a pretty big goal for that weekend because I really want to take advantage of that, those 3 days. So I really am kind of looking forward to that one because the story is starting to really mesh. And ironically, it was the beginning of the story that was bugging me. I can see the end. I can see book 2. I can see book 3. Where to kick it all off? That was what I was struggling with. And really what her actual problem was. Like I kind of needed her to, I was giving her a weaker position than what I initially wanted, and I realized today that that doesn't work, Elizabeth. And I'm looking forward to celebrating my mom turning 60. Oh, she'll love you for saying that. All right, guys, let's dive on into our important tasks. Now, this one is just an open block that allows you to start thinking through some of the bigger things that you want to, like maybe home projects that you kind of want to do, personal projects that you want to do for yourself, things that you want to kind of get into place, some systems you might want to create. These are all those little things. So you have exercise plan for one option, house projects. I have a couple that I want to tick off and get done. And actually, I'm kind of glad I've delayed them because the weather's going to get icky and I'm going to be in the house anyway more. So why not do those kind of things then, right? Deep cleaning, decluttering, paying your bills, your taxes, and especially if you're doing the monthly prepayments. Tax prep, if you're doing anything on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, this is when you want to start hitting that as well. Okay, guys, let's take a quick 2 minutes and figure out what it is that it's on your plate. I have a few things I need to schedule, and I have a schedule in front of me that is honestly making me want to cry, and I have no say in the matter because it is what it is, and I've already agreed to it because knowing these things. Okay, guys, and begin. Who do I need? Okay, what did you come up with? Okay, there. I put on 2 additional tasks that are going to be for me. I should be able to manage them without too much conflict to the others because I don't have to necessarily go to some of these other things. But the prep time it's more the prep time that messes me up than the other. Let's see. This with my studying is vitally important, so I'll be studying 2 hours a day for each of the 2 subjects I have an exam in this week. Exactly. And that is a fantastic way of doing that. Okay, guys, we do also have our mini little calendar here. At a glance, what days are you unable to or not planning to work this month? Cross them off. It's just a simple matter of going through. If something changes and they suddenly become available to you, you are then getting bonus time. But mark it off because that way you can really incorporate it in your plan and you know that those days are already off your plate. And if something happens, that's fine. And you can just look at that extra time you get to add back in. But it's not a for sure, so we don't want to look at it that way. Elizabeth, so 4 hours of studying Monday to Thursday. Yeah, that'll work. And maybe even a little wee break between the 2 subjects so that you are taking care of your health. Also with a back injury, you're going to find yourself probably wanting to dive in using the 20 or 25 minute timer so that you can get up and take that 5-minute physical break. It will help. Do not sit too long. It causes more pain. Okay, guys, let's do our at a glance and just cross off any of those days that even if you think maybe, you can use a different color for this if you think it's an unsure. That way you can leave it as that maybe pot. All right, and begin. What are you doing? Okay, I took an opportunity this time to switch to a different color, and I circled out the days that I'm hoping to really optimize. Double down days, virtual writing retreat, tentatively scheduling where I imagine our November planning session will go, kind of just to get a feel for the month and figure out where it is I might want some things. I feel like I want to put a 3rd color on here and possibly note out my unknowns. I'm not sure if because I'm pretty good. There's the 1 week there I think I may want to possibly put something in there, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. Elizabeth, I will be studying in the school library. Perfect. Oh, okay. Carrie, welcome, and looking forward to seeing more lives. Nice. Thank you. All right, guys. We are going to dive on into page 2. We're going to enter the special world. So I'm just going to slide over to that side. And we're looking at the goals, the I must statements. Now, if this is your first time doing this, the I must statement might be a little hard to kind of put together. It's also kind of something that you can do sort of as you come back to looking at it. So one of the ways you can do this is just fill in like bullet point what you want, basically kind of more what your goals are. That way you are able to, if you haven't quite gotten the right wording for it yet, if you're doing the quarterly planning, you might already have that. If you're doing the HB90 system with Sarah. But if you don't have that, definitely just kind of get down some point form little ideas of what you want that goal to look like. And then you can work toward creating the I must statement. So the first thing we need is we have our goals pyramid. You have 1 big goal, 1 to 2 medium goals, and 2 to 3 small goals. These are 6 goals total, 6 areas that will take you closer to your dream life. We can quickly take a moment. We can just name off each goal area. Like I said, you have 6 sections. You don't have to use them all. You can have 1 big goal, and that's it right now. You can have 1 big, 1 medium, 1 small, whatever you want to do to break it down. It's just kind of looking at the time and the priority that you're going to give it, right? So obviously your big goal is going to be given the most amount of time. Let's see. So let's just we'll just take 30 seconds and write down what you want for each goal. My first goal is always health. That one is my main goal. I also kind of started adding the word freedom into that as I'm learning to drive. So I see that as my ability to do some of the other things that I've been looking forward to doing. And so I'm kind of combining the two into that because it will give me the ability to go and do more things that will be, and those are more the social aspects of my health that will be I will be able to serve better, right? So let's just take a quick 30 seconds and fill out those titles of what you want each goal area to kind of be. So, writing, you can have whatever your side hustle is, if you have one, that Etsy shop, something like that, your health, you can have whatever it is that you need to fill that out. Okay, so I hope you were able to give some voice to what areas you want to work on. So the goals pyramid. I guess I should click this. What are the big picture areas of your life that you plan to focus on? Health, writing, marketing. Yes, marketing. I swear marketing is its own skill set, and often we try to incorporate it into our writing. And I find it needs a different mindset, and it doesn't quite come together as you would fit quite so nicely into that. So that's another area you can always add. Okay, guys, so the I must statement is a powerful tool. It will help you to define your goal and consider what it will cost you if you fail to reach it. Sometimes it will only be a delay from experiencing the payoff of accomplishing that goal. Sometimes it will cost you money or access to something if you delay and miss that deadline. If you're doing pre-orders with your books at all, if you miss that deadline, there's penalty involved in that. If you have to cancel the deadline, you also may be in trouble. The statement is made up of the goal you want to accomplish and what's at stake. So the structure we're going to use here, I feel like I was tweaking that and stopped. The statement is made up of two parts, the goal you want to accomplish and the cost of failure. I don't like using the word failure, but I think in this instance, it is a powerful word that actually gives a nice little kick in the pants, right? The cost of failure. What are you missing out on? Think of the value it brings to you and your dream life, the experience you will miss out on, the opportunity. What opportunities will you miss if you do this? And the structure is, I must, what your goal is, otherwise, what's at stake? The example I use is I must make healthy choices, otherwise I won't have the energy and focus to accomplish my other goals. Let's just take a couple of minutes. Any questions, any thoughts? Like I said, right now you can just do some bullet point ideas of what you want that goal to look like. If you are able to give the structure or start working toward that structure, sometimes it's easier than for some other than others, right? So, okay, guys, let's dive in and we'll do 2 minutes. Usually we can get a couple done. We'll basically do a pass of probably a couple goals and we'll take the whole steps and then you guys can hit the replay to move through the rest. Let's see. Elizabeth, I must study, otherwise I won't do well on my exams and I'll fail my classes. I need my degree. Yes, yes, definitely. Perfect. And begin, guys. See. Elizabeth, I must take care of my health or else I'll burn out and have chronic bad pain. Yes, yes, yes. That is so true. Exactly. Usually we think of it as kind of a temporary thing that, oh, we're just pushing ourselves a little bit. But we kind of get into it being our normal. And it's so hard on our bodies. And it's so hard on our focus, our attention, and we often end up making bad choices, trying to balance out, to basically give ourselves back some of that self-care time, but then it isn't really self-care time because we end up doing things like just scrolling on our phones, which isn't really good for us either. So we have to kind of find what we need that in that nice balance, right? All right, guys, we are going to move on into the next stage, the destination. Why do I go to the destination? I go to the destination because we want to know where we're headed. We want to know where we want to end up, what things we want to have accomplished. I use the images of the little Polaroids there because I want you to kind of think of this as you're going to have a little scrapbook of your accomplishments. And at the end, on November 1st, you want to be able to take those little snippets, those little photos, and be able to put them down in your scrapbook of what you actually accomplished, what you get to hold in your hand, what projects you got to the next stage, the things that a picture of yourself, maybe a before and after, when you've dropped that 5 or 10 pounds or whatever, and you look better, and you went and bought yourself a new outfit and you feel amazing, like those kind of things. But kind of think in terms of the visual. What does that look like? What is that destination? What are you holding? What is the is it an award? Is it a finished product? Is it a skill that you can now implement? Maybe not quite with mastery, but with a little more of that, a little more ease, right? Think about those kind of things, right? All right, so the destination is the scrapbook of your journey. How will this move you closer to your goals and next steps? What steps need to be completed to be able to move forward to the next set of steps? So imagine that you're going to break this down to 4 parts or 10 parts or whatever, depending how complex it is. What piece do you want to be able to check off that you've done? Which stage? And what will have changed? All right, guys, let's get our 2-minute timer up. And for this one, just bullet points, whatever it is you can see. And the reality is you may not be able to get to all of it. That's where we actually start. This is just our first pass at this. This is the dream, right? Okay, guys, and begin. Okay, did you come up with anything interesting? Elizabeth, I will tell myself the truth so as to quiet the negative thoughts in my head. Ooh, sweet. I like that. For mine, I needed to... I have a fridge. I've been using I used the 9091 challenge for writing the first time. My health for the last quarter, and I keep calling it that. Though at this point, it's kind of become my normal. So I'm not entirely sure if I still want to call it that. It's kind of a shorthand way of looking at it, so it's efficient. But at the same time, it's not really the challenge anymore. I feel like I need to tweak that to be able to move it into the next thing it needs to be. So I'm going to put myself a little question mark next to that one because I think I want to shift the definition of that a little bit. Still want to keep my health, but I want to shift it ever so slightly. Did you guys come up with anything interesting? I need to figure out, this is a silly thing to have to say. I do a lot of things on my main computer, on my PC, that makes it so that when I want to be creative on this machine, it's harder to do. And I think it's because my headspace, like 90% of what I do on this computer tends to be somewhat analytical. So I need to figure out which piece I want to use for creativity. My MacBook I like, but I need to change the font or something. It is such a tiny little screen. She's just a little 13-inch that I feel like, or I need to figure out how to change the settings in Scrivener so that it looks bigger. Because the font size is big enough. It's not a problem there. But the actual being on that tiny screen is harder to see. So I gotta work on that. Okay, guys. So our next section is, I renamed this. I used to call it the map. Now I'm just gonna call it the starting point. That is where we are today. Now, depending on this goal, if it's brand new, you might be at 0 in terms of what you've done on it. If it's a goal you've been working on for a while or a project you've been working on for a while, maybe you're at, we'll give a scale of 10 again, maybe you're at a 5, maybe a 6. Maybe it's one of those ones where you're nearly at the end, and this is the month where you get to check it off your list. You're at like 8. And over the next 5 weeks, you're going to be able to finish it and get it done. So I hope we all have a variety. If they're all brand new, that can be a bit daunting. So I hope you guys have a nice variety. All right, guys. Let's see. So I did not check. I still call it checking the map. I have to change that. So what have you accomplished so far in this project or goal? What projects have you tried? Did they take maybe a moment to consider, did they work? What worked about it? What didn't work? And have you learned this month about yourself, or what have you learned this month about yourself and your process? Because sometimes you don't necessarily, you find out that one thing works, but the other thing doesn't. Like I love my MacBook, but when I get into Scrivener, that size 13 font doesn't look like a 13 font, and I get a bit frustrated with it, and I need to change that, right? And I think that may just be the small thing that is holding me back a little. Elizabeth, October is going to be an amazing month. In September, I have learned the consequences of putting too much on your plate and putting too much pressure on yourself in the process. And now you know where to make adjustments, right? Okay, guys. Now I want you to be honest. Did you take any detours in September? Did you go off on any tangents? I've actually created a goal for myself that I just call buffer. and it allows me, I think Kate Kavanaugh has something similar to this. She would allow herself to do like one day of the month, she would let herself basically work on a new project, something new, and just kind of get enough of it down that then she was able to move on to get it into a state where she could get it out of her head and get it down on paper. So I basically have sort of a buffer goal, for lack of a better word, that allows me some of those little things that when they do come up and they're not necessarily planned, I have that teeny little tiny amount of time that if it's really something that's talking to me, I can jump in and do that. And stop doing things. And did you stop doing things that work for you? I often will slip into this a little bit because I don't like having to transcribe everything. But when I am planning a story, longhand is my go-to. And I try to tell myself, oh, well, I don't, no, I can just type it up. It's a different feel. I'm not as connected to the story when I do that. I need to realize that I'm hurting myself by stopping the journaling and the handwritten notes, because that gets me further in story. So don't beat yourself up. Just note these things so you are aware of them. Kat, yes, she called it her Write Anything Day. That's right. Yeah. And I kind of like that. So for generally speaking, I'm not using it for writing. I'm using it for those other little niggly little projects of things that kind of work, but they kind of bug me. And you guys, I know you guys are fine with them. And it's like, no, I can make that better. So I want to give myself just the tiniest little window that if I want to take one of those and make it nicer, I can do that. And it's a little guilt-free, and it's kind of a little gift to myself. Let's see. Elizabeth, I also learned yet again why repressing emotions isn't a good idea. Sometimes you need to learn a lesson multiple times. So true. Carrie, I try to put noise canceling headphones on and zeroing in on the computer using a specific program that I use only for being creative. I've discovered that, yes. But I also have gone back to pen and paper story. Yeah. Rita, longhand is the best feeling, and then just think the typing is the first round of revisions. Yeah, it actually, I think of it as like, as you guys know, I'm a fairly decent typist, so I see it as being not efficient when I do handwritten, but the truth is I'm actually holding myself back, and I need to stop thinking like that, because it's a whole other mindset between typing, keyboarding, and actually handwritten. Let's see, Elizabeth, I am the type of student that has a hard time reading the online textbook, but will read the physical textbook. Oh, interesting. My daughter leans into the online ones, and I'm like, really? I can get you the physical books? Because for me, I like the physical books too. So, again, funny, because if it's my fiction, I have to have my fiction as ebook form now. If I buy myself a physical book, the odds of me reading it, I now have 2 books that I ended up having to buy in ebook because I bought them in hardcover. And I just can't, they're always in the wrong space and I never get to read them. So now I have them in a place where I can get them done. Okay, guys, let's take our 2 minutes here and just see which ones we can work through and figure out where it is that we are starting from. Be honest with yourself. Give yourself some strategies that work for you too. Okay, and go. Oops. What did you guys come up with? I only get one on that time because I had to start thinking about what it is that works, and the realization that once I don't have an instructor, I will need to implement a strategy that is similar but for myself. So I'm going to need that. And I did come up with another strategy. I love journaling through and thinking through plot and ideas. But I need to take, even if it's 10 minutes, and take the information, the parts that I decide that I want to keep and use, and move them into the document so that when I sit down to write, it is there to serve me. I need to start doing that. Let's see, Carrie, I don't have space for physical books anymore. I need a bigger house. I have, I've come to the point that if it's a physical book, it's a reference book. And I have a lot of them, but I'm okay with that because I do use them and I do love them. So they bring me joy. So they're allowed to be here. This room has multiple bookcases. I have one here that I kind of keep a little more decorative with a little bit of books. And then I have ones behind me on the left that are my main bookcases that have gotten a little unruly and they need a little TLC, one of my projects for October, because it is a hot mess and less joy. Okay, guys, so we're going to dive on into the journey, which is the gap where we're going to take, we know where we want to get to. We know where we're standing right now. The journey is what the next 31 days are going to be about. This is strategy. This is us thinking through what it is that we're going to do to make this happen. And the reality is we may overshoot, but that's okay, because this is another stage where we start to get to break it down a little bit further to a week-to-week schedule. So then we can actually see, okay, maybe we bit off a little more than we could do, and we can just pull that back a little bit. Okay, guys. Or we can move something else and maybe delay that if it's a lower priority. Okay, guys. So for this one, what do you hope to accomplish in the next 4 to 5 weeks? So you know what your destination is. What does that look like? What strategies are you going to implement? What goals are you going to set for yourself? What tasks, projects you're going to work on? What pieces? If it's writing, are you going to measure by chapters or scenes or just words themselves? Are you on a first draft journey where you're just slamming out content? Are you more of a revision journey where you're going to want to move through a certain number of chapters per week? What does that look like? What projects will move you forward? What portion do you think you can accomplish in the following weeks? 31 days, guys. And how will you support this goal? What strategies will you implement? This is write down, point form, what you think. Like I said, we do get to evaluate this and refine. Okay, guys, let's do 2 minutes and figure out what that looks like and go. Okay. So I don't know if, I think I'm going to give myself two choices here. With my health goal, we do have a gym in our complex. I want to start utilizing it. I've come to that point. So I'm going to hopefully talk either my daughter or my husband into maybe being my gym partner, at least in the beginning, to make it so that we can hold each other a little more accountable and just get ourselves that little push. What did you guys come up with? Elizabeth, I am going to set a daily schedule for studying homework for myself. I have an Erin Condren academic planner. I like that one. That's actually a really nice planner. Yeah, and just put it, schedule in. If it's important, you schedule it, right? That's what we're looking to do. So I have to make for lack of a better word, I'm going to make an agreement. I'm going to use the word agreement. Not sure if that's the word I want, but sort of a commitment that we can follow this through. Okay, guys. So one of my favorite pages in here, your itinerary. So we have 5 weeks listed out here, and we have a notes section. The notes section is new. I have a feeling the notes section will have to disappear on the months where we need the 6 weeks, but that's okay. It is what it is, because generally speaking, we end up with 5 weeks. So we go from September 30th all the way to November 3rd for the complete weeks. And of course, the 31 days are in there. The overlap is to help you visualize the weeks when you're planning. So start with the destination in mind. So we're going to work backward from the week 5 and then move back to where we want to end up and how we're going to basically break that down. So work backward from what you want to have accomplished and break down the steps you need to take and how much you can accomplish per week. So the example I use is, this is from last week. So, or last month, I should say. So we had a 6 week. I made week 6 the resting week, but we're going to ignore that one for this time around because that doesn't exist. So we're going to use the example that on week 5, we want to be editing that outline. And then for the 4 weeks before that, we want to take part and use the 3 acts and the middle second act broken down into 2 parts. So act 3, act 2B, 2A, and then act 1 will be what we deal with in week 1. So just really breaking it down. In some ways I am tempted because I broke it down further this way because I felt that I thought that it would be easier to break the second act into 2 parts. But honestly, if I were to redo this, I would have act 1, 2, and 3. I would have the editing outline, and then I would have that resting week in between the writing and the outline so that I could take a little time just to think about what I had and journal about it, and then I could make some more little modifications before I dived into the writing. So there's a few different ways of looking at this. So this is your page 4. So let's dive in and go away. I'm not supposed to be on Do Not Disturb right now, but it's not working, so it is what it is. Okay, so let's get a 2-minute timer up, and we'll just take what we've gotten so far, because like I said, this is for an entire month, so you have a little bit more you have to work from. But I know there's no lines on this one, so just imagine it broken down to 5 parts. I wanted everybody to basically to your 6, so that basically you're breaking it down by goal. Let me go back here for a second. You can picture like goal 1 being here, goal 2, goal 3, and so on, right? I didn't want to put lines because if it is Obviously, your bigger goal is going to need more room than your smaller goals to explain. So I didn't want to make that difficult. And so put in lines, you know what, grab a ruler if that works for you. And you can divide it out once you kind of get the information in there, and make it clear so that it's broken down. But just do what is going to work for you, right? Okay, guys, so let's dive in, and I will give you a 2-minute timer, and let's see what we can plan and go. Okay. What did you guys come up with? I ended up with part of me wants to oops, actually it's a good thing I did this on I got so in my head of what I was trying to do, I actually put it in the wrong sections, but this is digital, so I can simply take this and shift it over, and no loss. There. Oh well, it's all good. What did you guys come up with? I am trying to intensify my exercise routine. So part of it is very routine. And I think I've come to the conclusion I can stop writing that part down, because to even not do it now feels wrong. So I don't think I need to write that down as a daily or as a weekly reminder, because that's already in play. I need to write down the things that are the ads. So I need a shorthand to write down the one that is already fairly in place, just so I don't forget about it, and I can kind of nod to that. So I want a very shorthand to that, and then all the other things that are kind of the intensifying part gets into there. I think that'll help a lot. Oops, maybe if I'm the right thing. There. Okay. Let's see. Elizabeth, I'm going to set a daily schedule for studying homework for myself. Okay. All right, guys. We are going to first and more very important thing that I want you to take away from this is I want you to enjoy the journey. So don't make this stressful. Keep in mind your limitations. At the same time, giving yourself a little extra push. So we're trying for that out of our comfort zone a bit, but not so far that you feel like you've fallen in the well, right? We want to kind of move ourselves in the right direction in a healthy way. That's what we're trying to do here. So, complete your plan. You're going to go repeat the steps until you've figured out what each goal looks like for the month. And going forward, you're going to use this plan to define each week and adjust it as needed in your regular planner. And that way you have this tool that you can look at and use as a guide as you're planning. Some weeks may get messed up. You may not be able to do as much as you plan because of life. So that is okay. So then you make the small adjustments. And maybe you can, if you see it coming, you can kind of reduce for that week, add a little bit if you can, maybe to the previous week and a little bit to the next following week. And that way you can keep really on task. If it is not possible, you don't worry about it and you just continue with the plan as it is and you move the pieces until you are, because the goal is to get closer, not to burn yourself out and not to harm yourself. Let's see, Kat. I'm taking the time to learn a new crochet pattern. Nice. To give me time to distress and keep my mind sharp. I love that. Fellow crocheter. Very cool. Elizabeth, I went too far outside my comfort zone, and if I kept up at that pace, I would have burnt myself out. No burnout. That's right. No burnout. We don't do that here. No. Carrie, I gave myself a mid-month break due to help me relax and from burning out due to having to train someone at work. Interesting. I like that. Yeah, and think about if there's a break you need. If you find that maybe the solid 5 weeks is too much, then you can do that midweek there. And you could just reduce that one a little bit and shave off, make it a lighter week. And then you can kind of, and build again, that balance and protection from burnout. If it's too much to go the straight 5, boom, 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 then give yourself that gift. Rita, burnout is not fun. No, it isn't. I realized that Q2 especially, I realized at the end there that I had been pushing myself in directions that no wonder I was starting. And I think I lied to myself and said that I was heading into it. No, I think I was living there. I needed to make some changes, to make some healthier choices to protect myself from it. Because it was too much, and I should have realized that. And it's so easy because it seems like it's just one more little thing, right? It's, I can do that. That's no big deal. Yeah, sure, I can say yes to that. It sounds interesting. I want to do that. We have to protect ourselves, right? Okay, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you guys next weekend for some writing and productivity sprints. And actually, next weekend, are we already sliding into, and I think, yes, and Double Down Day. So I will see you guys next weekend for all the fun things. Take a moment. We've been sitting and working for about an hour and 20. So I want you to get up. I want you to move around a little bit. Grab yourselves a water and and just basically just move around a little bit, even just for a few minutes. Like I said, get a tall glass of water, and then you can continue with your planning. But don't hurt yourselves, guys, because we have been doing this for an hour 20, and let's be kind to ourselves. Always, 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 right? Wow, that felt like 5 minutes. It's all good, hon. Thank you, guys. I will see you next weekend. Have an amazing week. And I look forward to finding out next weekend, maybe a little bit. I may ask you what you plan that you're most excited for. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me. Bye, guys.